out of you. I think it's a fight for. And we found something worth fighting for as an NBA, as a collective unit. And I use these shoes as a symbol to me to keep fighting all around the world. So like I said, they give me a lot of power to keep fighting, and we want to win. I show my emotion, it comes out, so.
You have a picture of George Floyd on your right shoe here. You got Breonna Taylor. Why has this been so personal for you, Jamal?
Because it's not just in America, it happens everywhere. And for us to come together, the NBA, and it doesn't take one meeting. It takes a couple meetings, a few meetings. It takes phone calls, it takes persistence. It's not gonna take one night, and we've been trying to fight for 400 years. But these shoes give me life. Even though these people are gone, they give me life. They help me find strength to keep fighting this world. That's what I'm gonna keep doing.
Clearly an emotional Jamal Murray, and we can see that performance so much bigger than basketball, remembering the victims, saying those shoes give him life, and he's focused on that after dropping 50 and pushing this series to a Game 7. Stephen A., I'll start with you. This really has been an incredible series, and we've seen the Jazz and Donovan Mitchell and him going back and forth, but I want to focus on Murray. Who does his game most remind you of?
Wow, it's hard to say because he's just he's been a scoring machine, shooting 58% from the field, 57% from three-point range. I don't even have words. I've thought about cats like Dwayne Wade. I thought a little bit like Kobe based on how he's looked the last 3 games. I've gone back to the watching him stroke, hitting 9 of 3, 12 threes last night. I've thought about Ray Allen. I've thought about Allen Houston. I really don't know the answer to that question, believe it or not, but because there's so many people to pick up, it depends on what game he brings. Some nights he's relatively passive during the regular season. Didn't have a 40-point game this regular season. Last 3 games he scores 50, 42, and then drops another 50 last night. He's been absolutely sensational. Make no mistake about it. And his handle and his athleticism are underrated as well. So I would say the Kobe's and D Wades of the world, if you're just going by the last 3 games, I'd lean more towards a Ray Allen and an Allen Houston if you're just taking his regular season performances into consideration. But considering what he's doing in the postseason, is superstar written all over him. I'm kind of wondering when the hell Utah is going to start doubling and getting the damn ball out of his hands, because I completely agree with Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal and what they were highlighting last night. Get the damn ball out of his hands, for crying out loud. He's shooting 57% from 3, 58% from 3-point from the field, rather. Get the damn ball out of his hands and make somebody else beat you. I don't understand why on too many occasions the guys had one-on-one coverage on him. But nevertheless, he is special. As I've acknowledged all season long, the brother he's a special kind of basketball player. He can shoot the rock. He can handle. He's got athleticism and what have you. And I think that Denver's going to find a way to win this series. I had predicted they would win this series to begin with. But Utah obviously is really, really tough. And Donovan Mitchell is an absolute stud, averaging 38 himself. This brother is something special. But Jamal Murray is as well. That's all I can tell you.
Dwayne Wade's a good call, a combo guard who can really fill it up and plays under pressure in the playoffs so far. My thought went to Kyrie Irving, although Kyrie Irving's already a champion and has a bad reputation at this point as a locker room guy in terms of the effect he has on the chemistry of teams. Damian Lillard, because Lillard has a good reputation that way, but he's not. There's not a perfect comp for him. But I got to say, excuse me, Jamal Murray. I've been saying, look, Jokic is clearly the best player on this team. And if Jamal Murray were as good as that, if they had 2 near MVP candidates, they'd be a real title threat. In fact, Jamal Murray's the best player on this team right now, and that's saying a lot because Jokic is a bad dude. And Jamal Murray is playing like the best player on a championship team right now, and he has another near MVP with him. That makes me think about that entire team differently. Murray has been, and what he and Donovan Mitchell have been doing, guys. Remember when I said it's the only real rivalry? I mean, is that hyperbolic? I guess, but let's see Kawhi and LeBron actually link up when they're both the alphas of the team, like when Kawhi has all this responsibility now, not back in the day when he was a piece of the Spurs, when he's the main guy. Let's see him and LeBron link up. LeBron and Kobe never linked up in the playoffs. Like, we wanted to see that, but by the time these dudes are linking up in the first round right now, oh my God. And they're putting on a performance. Guys, I can't remember a Game 7 of a first-round series I look more forward to than this, where there's been performances by two guys that basically do the same thing for their teams, who are going back and forth and elevating each other's games like this. Every time one guy goes to a level, you go, well, you can't be better than that. The other guy answers and raises it, and then the other guy answers and raises it. It is remarkable. Jamal Murray's remarkable. I knew he was already good. I thought he'd be excellent because he's still very young. I think he just turned 22. I thought he was going to maybe be a great player one day. Right now, you can't play better than this dude is playing. Like, it's insane how well Jamal Murray is playing. So I get the Dwayne Wade comparison. Maybe I go with Kyrie or Damian Lillard, though he's a little bigger. I don't think there's a perfect comparison. This dude and Donovan Mitchell are putting on a show for the ages.
Well, it's hard, Max and Stephen A. I mean, I've been thinking about who he compared to also. And a couple of days ago, one of my good friends, Rashard Phillips, sent me a text and said that after Game 5, that Jamal Murray reminds him of Gilbert Arenas. And after watching him last night, he's pretty spot on. I mean, it's nothing offensively that Jamal Murray can't do. When you look at him, he's a great three-point shooter. The way that he's able to get separation and create on his own on the three-point line, especially when he get bigger guys on him. Also, Max, you said a great point. He's a bigger guard. I watched him. He's not afraid to go down in the post. He got the ball on the string with great handles. He finishes well around the basket. So when I'm looking at Jamal Murray and his offensive package, it reminds me a lot of Gilbert Arenas, and my guy was spot on with this. And I'm with you, Stephen A. At what point are they going to trap this brother? He's single-handedly beating them right now. And in the playoffs, Quinn Snyder, listen, brother, you have to do better. You have to make someone else beat you. This guy is single-handedly taking over the game, and he's dominating on some Michael Jordan-type stuff. That was some Allen Iverson-type stuff. That's the name that you're starting to put his name in those type of conversations, and you got to get the ball out of his hands. And credit to Donovan Mitchell because he's competing. One thing I can say about Donovan Mitchell, not only is he exploding offensively, but on the defensive end, I'm watching him, and late in the fourth, he's taking on the challenge. He's trying to stop Jamal Murray. Now, we got to give some credit where credit's due to Coach Malone because he made the necessary adjustments by putting in, the Grant kid in the starting lineup and also spacing the floor with Jokic and putting these guys in position to be successful. So he switched things up. Now it's time for Utah to switch things up. Or it might be too late because I might be with you, Stephen A., and saying that Denver go close this out in 7. Close this out in Game 7.
Guys, who's been better?
My mentality.
Who's been better between Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray?
That's a good question.
Who's been better, guys? I don't know how to. I guess Game 7 will determine that.
Well,
but
I would tell you. I will answer it
Jamal
this way,
Murray's
Max.
been better than Donovan Mitchell. It's very close.
Let me answer your question. I would tell you that Donovan Mitchell was better the first 3 games, and Jamal Murray has been better the last 3.
Yeah.
That would be my answer to that question. It's pretty even because it's been back and forth in that way. But I also take this a step further. Here's why I'm rooting for Denver. I'm a Denver Nuggets fan in terms of the collection of talent that they have. With Utah, I'm a Donovan Mitchell fan. I think there's a bunch of solid players surrounding an absolute bona fide star in Donovan Mitchell. Whereas in Denver, Jamal Murray might be on the verge of superstardom, but the Joker is a star in and of himself. And they got a lot of tall, sizable athletes surrounding them. And I'm thinking about the next round because I want the next round to be just as interesting as this round. I think Utah gets taken out relatively easy by the Clippers. That ain't the case with Denver. I don't think that's going to be easy at all, which is why I like it. And I love, by the way, KP, your Gilbert Arenas analysis. From 2004 to 2007, Gilbert Arenas averaged 25, 29, and 28. And that brother could put up buckets on anybody. If he didn't lose his way up here, Gilbert Arenas was something special to behold. He really was.
142 points over 3 games, standing on the shoulder of giants and never forgetting the lives that have been lost as he continues to play so hard. Incredible during this series. Game 7 will be on ESPN at 8:30 tomorrow. Don't miss it. When we come back here on First Take, don't forget, later today, there she is, the Queen, Serena Williams, the U.S. Open, going for her 24th major title to match Margaret Court for most all time. And of course, wearing her mask.
So I'm going to hold on promoting you this quarter. Cool?